All right, guys, so today I just want to talk about the follow through, especially the lead leg and clearing the hips on that lead leg, and what can actually potentially make that a little bit more difficult or a bit of a struggle. And it might not be what you think. Now, obviously with all the information now and all that ground force, everyone's trying to drive off that left leg, clear the hips, create loads of power. But from a physiological standpoint, I just want to talk about another area that you may not have thought of that could be compromising or making this side difficult to straighten. So that area will actually be the other side. Now, as I turn into my backswing, you see this is a nice flex leg, and this left leg has moved across. So I've loaded into that backswing. Now, this is the important part. As I start to come over and drive and turn my hips, this drives up, but now you're actually going to start to feel a stretch down this right side, especially like in the hip flexor, in the adductors here. And if this is tight down here, as I start to move across and try and straighten up here, if this is tight, then this knee you'll probably see start to buckle in people. You might even see the little leg drag on some people on their follow through. So I start to drive, this starts to bend, and now my weight, it basically just lowers my body weight down, and now my left side starts to buckle. It's actually quite hard. It's quite hard to actually straighten this leg with this kind of like buckly leg position. So you'll start to see that almost like a little slight bendy knee on the front. No matter how hard you try to straighten this one, it's actually this side that is restricting you from moving over to this side. Because I want to actually just be able to move my hips back, fold through, drive through, glutes are firing, staying down. But if this is tight here, then we're going to have problems. All right, so now I'm just going to show you a very, very quick test that you can do at home to see if you are tight in that area. All right, so if you find you're struggling to go over to that left lead leg and you're tight, or it feels tight in that position, or you're struggling to keep that in a fairly straight leg, here's a very quick test to see if you have a problem. So it's going to be 2 movements. So I'm just going to start with a single leg glute bridge. So I'm going to lie on my back, feet together, knees together. And from here, I'm just going to squeeze my glutes. I'm going to lift my hips up. And then I'm going to take one away. And I'm just going to try and hold that there for 10 seconds before repeating on the other side. Now, if you're really, really tight down the front, or those anterior structures, your hip flexors are tight, you might, in that position, start to feel this at the front of your thigh. The thigh feels tight, your hamstrings are firing, and very limited glutes. That's the area that we want to be feeling there to support you, the glutes, not all these areas there. So if you're feeling it there, you're going to know you're going to have an issue. And now, this is the one that catches a lot of people out, is the couch stretch against the wall. Again, it's a nice way to just test what's going on at the front of the hips. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring my knee as close to this wall. All right, I'm not even far away here. I'm actually very, very close to the wall. And from here, I'm just going to bring this upper leg up. And I'm going to sit myself up. Okay, now this is tight. You'll see people, they come into this position, they can't even get up into that. They can't even get this front leg forward because this area of the hip is so tight. All right, you should be able to get that there. Fold up, nice and tall. All the structures in here, nice and loose, should be fairly comfortable. all right? If that is an absolute no-no, and you find that you're not even feeling your glutes on that glute bridge, then this is something you definitely want to be working on. And this actually here, even though it's a bit of an assessment, is actually a great stretch to try to loose up those anterior structures, all right? And then once we're loose, now it's just gonna make it a lot easier to turn, have that nice long position here rather than this leg buckling because it's too tight on that hip.